What do you get when you put a group of fanboys in a room with a mic? From video games, comics, and movies to uncensored social commentary, nothing is off limits. With your hosts, Pistol Pete Jr., The Blue Guy, Chuck Ditch, G-Roll, and Player 2. This is The Real Press Start. So sit down, load up, log in, and press start. Alright. I don't know if we're back or we're just starting. This is a very special episode of The Real Press Start. We have a special guest. What did we call you last time you were on the show?
Oh, I don't remember.
You had a nickname.
We did, and I loved it.
I think you were Dusty Bottoms.
That sounds right.
That was your nickname.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it was a Three Amigos reference.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were Dusty Bottoms.
Dusty Bottoms.
It's the return of Dusty Bottoms.
Back again.
Back again.
The return of Dusty Bottoms sounds like a western.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the name of the episode.
The return
of Dusty Bottoms. Chubb Didge and G-Roll will not be joining us. You know what? This is another reason this episode is special. This is the last episode of The Real Press Start while I'm in my 30s.
Oh, snap. It is.
Yep. On Monday, I will be 40 years old.
Wild.
So, Chubb Didge and G-Roll had to tap out. They drank too much. They had to leave. Mm-hmm. But Dusty Bottoms,
surviving breed.
The survivor. I got you here with me, which is awesome. I've been wanting to get you back on the show for a while.
I've been wanting to come back.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to have... What the hell is Kane sending to the Instagram? Oh, okay. Kane, I'm always half afraid to see what Kane sends. It's like, I'm around my family. Should I open this message?
Not that page. Not that page.
I mean, he doesn't send anything out, just. But there's every once in a while, it's like, okay, that chick's just bouncing her boobs.
Yep.
I'm not mad at it, but I don't want to open it around my family.
Right.
We have a whole Snapchat. I don't know if you know. There was a shooting star. Oh, make a wish.
I missed it.
You missed it.
I wish I could have seen it. That's my wish.
But yeah, we have a whole that one is because everything disappears after 24 hours.
Oh right.
So we wild out on that one.
That's the bad one.
That's the bad one. Shit, man. So there's been a lot that's gone down since you were last on the show.
Oh yeah.
So I want to catch up on it with a couple things here.
Okay.
So let me think. So the big thing right now. Have you seen Eternals?
Yes.
I haven't yet.
Ooh.
I haven't.
Okay. What have you heard? Because before I went into it, I heard nothing but bad things.
Well, see, part of the reason I haven't seen it yet was I don't know why the trailer didn't grab me.
Okay.
I liked the trailer, but it didn't make me if it was on Disney Plus, I would have watched it.
Yeah.
But something so tomorrow I'm gonna go see Ghostbusters. Okay. I was gonna go see it this weekend, but everything I've been trying to go see Ghostbusters since Friday.
Okay, fair.
But everything's because it came out on the 19th, which
was just a few days ago.
Yeah, a few days ago. So I've been trying to go see it since it came out, but it's just I haven't been able to.
Yeah.
Whereas Eternals, I don't feel that that urgency to go see it. Shang-Chi, I had to go see.
Yeah.
Watching the trailer for Shang-Chi is I'm all in. I need to go see this.
Well, we've come so far in these Marvel movies that at this point it's it's the new Marvel movie. I gotta go see it. No matter what it is.
Yeah, no, and that is normally my mindset. Mm. But for whatever reason, the Eternals it didn't hit that switch where it's I need to go see this.
Well, I guess I didn't really know what I was getting into in the movie. I did some slight background research of each of the character to kind of get an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where they're going with the movie.
Yeah.
All I got from the trailers was no matter what happens, this movie's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it does. Yeah, and that's one thing I did get from the trailer.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. With Guardians, most people didn't know who.
Oh yeah, I had no idea who they were going in.
I knew of the Guardians. I didn't know anything about them at all. I knew of them. And so going into that movie, I had but
for whatever, like again with that trailer, it's like, I need to go see this fucking movie.
Yeah.
For whatever, like just there's something. I don't know if it's in the trailer itself or just the way it's been marketed. Something's missing for me.
That's interesting.
And then, and I don't pay attention to the bad reviews for Eternals, only because I know most of the bad reviews are based on people that, first of all, it's like people that it had a 3.5 before the movie even came out. And that's just because people are being ignorant and like, oh, there's a gay character.
Yeah.
I hate this movie.
That is being directed by a woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like Captain Marvel went through the same shit, where it's like it's a female-led movie. I'm gonna shit on it before I even see it.
Right.
And so I don't normally, especially Rotten. I don't even go on Rotten Tomatoes, like because I don't. How can I say? I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes.
For good reason.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's super biased. For the same reason I don't trust IGN's ratings.
Well, it's at this point, a site like Rotten Tomatoes is so like it's so broad in their ratings that like if it's below 50%, you know it's gonna be a bad movie.
Yeah.
If it's above 50%, it can go either way. Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing too is like it's just so. I want to say it's so political now, or so there's something like. How can I say it? Like, I can't think of the wording or how to say it, but it's just so like, I don't like this movie because of this thing. It has nothing to do with the movie itself.
The people who are reviewing it have a agenda.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually a huge thing that's happening with the reviews with Eternals, is what I picked up on. Yeah. Because before I saw it, I wasn't reading any articles. I just saw headlines. And everyone was saying it was bad. And I was like, man, why is everyone saying it's bad? Like, I'm a little nervous going to this movie. Yeah. Went and saw it. I had very low expectations. I loved it.
Really?
I loved it.
Okay.
And afterwards, I was like, okay, now I got to go look at all these headlines and see like what people were griping about. Yeah. And I couldn't understand what they were complaining about because they kept like mentioning like plot holes and like all these gripes that they had. I was like, well, this can be explained by this, and it's like, what movie were you watching and stuff like that. Yeah. And then I read this article that kind of broke it down. It's like, here's why everyone hates it, and it basically came down to agenda. They're like, oh, you know, how does this director who just won an Oscar, fresh off of an Oscar win, comes and directs this movie and it just freaking plummets? Yeah. How does that happen? It's like, well, because Marvel took Hollywood's pride and joy director and threw them in a Marvel movie, and people are like, "Oh,
it's a Marvel movie."
It gets snobbed. Oh, now she's forced to play ball with Marvel, and she can't have her directional freedom, and blah 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 blah. And so it's not so much that they were hating on Chloe Zhao; they were hating on Marvel.
Well, yeah. See, and that's another thing I hate. Like, okay, so. For example, IGN. The reason I bring up IGN along with Rotten Tomatoes. So, have you watched the What If series?
Yes.
Okay. What was your favorite episode of the What If series?
By far, the second to last episode, the Ultron episode.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, by far.
Okay.
Before that.
Yeah, it was okay.
Probably the T'Challa episode.
That was a good one too.
Yeah, I really liked Marvel Zombies, but only because of Scarlet Witch. That whole thing was insane.
Have you read the Marvel Zombie comics?
No.
Okay.
But the second they announced What If, I knew that was going to be the big thing because Marvel Zombies comic storyline is really famous.
Did you hear they're actually going to be doing a Marvel Zombie series now?
Yes.
Okay. So, I read all of the Marvel Zombies.
Okay.
And it can get a little confusing. Because it gets deep into the multiverse. Right. It gets super deep into the multiverse.
Yeah, because doesn't the virus spread through the multiverse?
Yeah, and it starts in another alternate dimension and spreads. It gets real deep into the multiverse, so it's very confusing. Like at one point, Howard the Duck and Ash team up. Ash Williams from Evil Dead. Oh my God. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
That's wild.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites. I don't know if do you know about the zombie side of me? I don't know if I've gotten into that.
It may have come up casually, but I don't think I grasped how much you're into it.
I'm a huge just zombie genre fan.
Okay.
Like George Romero is God.
Okay.
it's Hideo Kojima and George Romero.
Gotcha.
Like
Those are your two deities.
Those are yeah, exactly. So to the point where I legit have a zombie, like, part of like my old apartment that I used to live in, part of the reason I wanted to live there was because it was a zombie like it was good zombie defense.
Hilarious.
The apartments I used to live in were like, so the first floor of the apartments was actually the second floor of the complex. The first floor was all parking, and so it was an elevated structure that I could easily defend. They had fencing all around it. There was one time, everything was locked. You needed a key to get into the complex at all. And there was one time, and I remember like chiding myself for like, so I was coming home from work one day, and someone had propped one of the gates open so they couldn't get in, or so they couldn't, like, it wouldn't close behind them. Mm-hmm. And I remember getting mad. And I closed the door, and I was like, I slammed the door behind me. I was like, fucking people in, goddamn zombies in. And I closed the door, and like I thought that I was angry. And I closed it, like literally said that out loud. Fucking people in, the zombies in. I get in the elevator, I go upstairs, and I was halfway to my apartment where I was like, wait, zombies aren't a thing right now. Like, I was mad.
Anyone listening in is like, that's a crazy dude right there.
But I was legit mad. I have a zombie like escape plan. I legit have a plan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I
Does it involve Costco?
It does not involve Costco.
Okay, because that's the most common one.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Which
is why that you're not making exactly your plan.
I've said it on the show a couple times. I'll say it. I'll let you in on it.
Okay.
So you know the offshore. I should also mention we've been drinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is why the other two had to tap out.
Yes, the other two had to tap out. So the offshore drilling sites in the beach.
Yeah.
Like, so if you go to the ocean, you see those sites, those towers. So those towers, not only do they generate their own electricity, but they essentially have potentially have an unlimited source of food. Because you can basically fish.
Yeah.
So they generate its own electricity. Mm-hmm. You can unlimited source of food, and it's an elevated platform that's easily defended.
And it's way out in the water. Yeah.
So like, you'd be safe from zombies because they're not swimming to you. And if they do swim to you, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that's going to get to them before they get to you.
Yeah.
Let's say, one of the things that most people don't realize when it comes to a zombie apocalypse is you
gotta start dealing with human factions.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what Walking Dead and Last of Us have taught us.
Exactly. So an easily defendable platform. So like, there's gonna be other people, and other people will have that idea. Mm-hmm. But if you have a stable elevated platform that you can defend, opposed to someone on a boat that's trying to attack from a moving platform that is not stable, you have the high ground.
You have like all the advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Easily defendable. The hardest part is getting to it. Mm-hmm. And I have a plan for that as well. I won't go into that, but I have a plan for that as well. And so that's my part of my plan.
Okay, that's smart. I like it.
You know, where was I going with this? Oh, Marvel Zombies.
Yes.
But I forgot where I was going with this now, though. Oh, okay. So, Love of Zombies, Marvel Zombies. One of my favorite episodes. Mm-hmm. The T'Challa episode was great. Especially because it was one of Chadwick Boseman's last performances.
Not only that, but it's like a perfect representation of everything that Marvel's been trying to do.
Yeah.
And the comedy was all on point. There weren't any like cheap jokes.
No, I agree.
And even the Thanos jokes that they kept revisiting every single time, it was funny. It didn't get old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that it was one of those. Yeah, it was a almost perfect episode. Mm-hmm. The Marvel Zombies episode, to me, I feel like was, I mean, it didn't have the comedic elements that the T'Challa episode had. It was a more serious tone, but I feel like from beginning to end, it was it had the emotion, like it had the loss. It had that, you can tell these guys were tired. You can tell they had been fighting. Obviously, it had the comedic episode elements, like with Peter Parker doing the whole, like, welcome to the zombie apocalypse intro and all that. Yeah. It had its moments, but I feel like it was such a well done episode. IGN gave it a 5 out of 10. Like they gave it, and it was one of those things. So, what was the other series we were watching? Hawkeye and
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Drinks.
Yes. Fucking. Have you watched Hawkeye yet?
Yeah, the first 2 episodes.
I haven't watched any of it yet. I need to.
It's good.
This last couple of weeks have been like with the wrestling show and with everything going on. It's been super fucking busy.
Yeah.
But Falcon and Winter Soldier. I forget what episode it was now. But it was like the best. The same thing with Loki. With Loki. That's because I do remember the episode that they rated. The one with when Loki and Sylvie. Yeah, I was gonna call her.
Are we talking about the second episode?
No.
I was gonna say the second episode, other than the last episode, was like the best episode.
Wait, is the second episode when they're sitting at the end where they're just sitting on the rock?
That's I think the third.
Okay,
the second episode is when she activates the bombs.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
In the superstore. That's the second episode.
So yeah, then it was the third episode. Then.
Okay.
When they're like that
with the uncut of them running through the
yes,
that's great episode.
They rated a 3, and it's like
yeah, they clearly don't know what they're doing.
It's like I like. I've always I go to IGN because it's a well-known news source, and they do break a lot of stories, and so I go to them for a lot of my research when it comes to doing this show. When it comes to, if you watch their videos on YouTube, if you watch any of their reviews, it's very biased and it's just like, I didn't like this one thing, so I'm gonna shit all over this.
So I watched before going to watch Eternals. I watched IGN's spoiler-free review of Eternals.
Okay.
Because I was curious. I was like, all right, let's get like a voice here. Let's see what their opinion is.
Yeah. And
what they told me was they did a good job focusing on the character development, and I was like, cool, that's important.
Yes.
We need that. And they said the plot fizzles out towards the end, and I was like, okay, we are introducing 10 brand new characters that no one knows anything about.
Yes.
And then we also have to introduce the villain or villains.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, not knowing anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy, back then I thought that was going to be taxing. We're introducing 5 brand new characters plus villains. I was like, guys, you got your work cut out for you. They nailed it. So I was like, Eternals. I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
If they killed it on the character development, solid.
Yeah.
If the plot fizzles out, whatever, we can deal with that.
Yeah, this is the first movie. Yeah, like
I went and saw the movie, and I was like, when did the plot fizzle out? I kid you not, there was not a single dull moment.
Okay.
So I went and saw it with Oren. We're in the theaters, and we both had to pee like crazy. We were trying to find like a moment to like leave. I kid you not, every 5 minutes,
something new,
something important happens.
Yeah.
Whether it's dialogue, whether it's an event, whatever.
Yeah.
There's constantly something new brewing. We had to sit the entire movie without going pee, and it's a 2.5 hour movie.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
It was brutal, but it was worth it.
Yeah,
it was absolutely worth it.
What theater did you guys go see it at? If you don't mind me asking.
We went to the Block, AMC.
Okay.
Because there was 3 of us that were trying to go see it, and that was like the only theater that would work for location and time.
Yeah, okay. Makes
and
sense,
then one of the guys ended up not going. We're like, we could have went to literally any other theater.
But you know what? Those theaters are really good. Those are really good theaters.
Yeah.
There's a Regal down the street from here that's $7 all day.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's a newer theater, so it's got the recliners. It's got just.
It's a newer theater. They're only charging $7 all day.
Yep. There's 2 Regal theaters that I know of that do that. So one here and there's one in West Covina. The one in West Covina has been there since. I grew up in the West Covina adjacent, so I've known of these theaters for as long as I can remember.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
$7.
$7 all day long.
Yeah, because tickets now are like $13, $14.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
If you want IMAX or you want any of the that it goes up a little bit, but just
obviously,
the standard theater.
I usually do standard anyway.
Yeah, $7. Have you've seen Shang-Chi, obviously?
Oh, of course.
What'd you think of Shang-Chi?
Loved it. My favorite thing, and I've told this to so many people. My favorite thing. They defeated the one trope that every single movie feels that they have to rely on. There was no romantic interest. I absolutely loved that.
They hinted at it, but they didn't force it. They made it feel very organic.
Between the main character and Awkwafina?
Yeah. There was, like, it was kind of like that, like...
I got friendship vibes the entire movie. I never once thought that there was going to be a moment where they were going to, like, kiss or embrace.
I agree. They hinted at it, though. Like, with the grandma, like, oh, when are you guys getting married? And they kind of hinted at it
Oh, and then when he takes off his shirt, and she's like, oh.
Yeah. They kind of hinted at it here and there, but no, they kept
it was more playful.
More playful, yes.
Yeah.
But it was like a real friendship.
Yeah.
Like, their chemistry felt fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
They defeated this long-lasting trope that's been there ever since cinema started.
Yes.
And I was like, good on you guys. Not only did you break it, but it was a phenomenal movie.
Oh, my God.
And I've said this time and time again, and, Metal Gear Solid is a big part of this for me. The villain makes the movie.
Yes.
For me. It's always been that way.
Yes.
And honestly, Shang-Chi is more about the dad than it is Shang-Chi.
Yeah, definitely.
And both their stories were incredible.
Yeah.
Especially the dad's.
Yes. The one thing that bothers me, and this is on me, and not on the movie at all. I can blame the movie a little bit. But, okay, so me and Jiro were talking back and forth, and he kept calling the monster at the end, the soul sucker. He kept calling. He thought it was Fing Fang Foom. I was like, that's not Fing Fang Foom. Okay. And he was like, they didn't mention the name of the villain or the monster.
They gave it like a title. They didn't give it a name.
They gave it one name. They say, you're right. They give it a title, but technically that's the monster's name. And I didn't realize it until watching it recently. Now that it's back on Disney Plus, or now that it's on Disney Plus, it's the Dweller in the Darkness. The Dweller in the Darkness is technically the character's name. First showed up in Doctor Strange, I believe. It's actually you face it as a boss in the Guardians of the Galaxy game as well.
Oh, okay.
But it looks different in the Guardians game.
Of course.
But it is a well-known character, well-known villain. It's not Fing Fang Foom, but it's a character that Doctor Strange has fought a couple times. Okay. And like me and Gabriel, like our initial review, like all three of us, me, Michael, and Gabriel, the initial review was like, we don't know what that monster is. We don't know who he is. It's just they didn't say its name. Then watching it again, it's like, oh, they said Dweller in the Darkness. I didn't catch it the first fucking time. Oh. It's the Dweller in the Darkness.
So they said that. I'm sure I caught it in the movie, but it meant nothing to me. So it was just over.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's that's the one. Like I knew of the character, but again, it's an obscure. It's like a deep cut fucking Marvel character. Right. Like you have to know. Like I've been reading comics since '89, and I've only heard that name like 4 times.
See, and I never read comics. Yeah. I was never into comic book superheroes. Okay. And, my friends are the ones who dragged me along to go see, like the first Iron Man and... Okay. Like, all the movies leading up to Avengers, and Avengers was like the big event. It wasn't until... What came out before Ultron? Because it was Ultron, then it was Ant-Man, but before Ultron, it was Guardians of the Galaxy 2? That was phase 3.
Yeah, I think it was the first Guardians.
It was the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
First Guardians, yeah.
So the first Guardians of the Galaxy is when I started looking up people because I was like, who the hell are these guys? Yeah. And then I started doing all the speculation videos that are on YouTube and stuff. Yeah. I started doing my own speculations, and so I came up with an entire plot for Age of Ultron, and they just blew it out of the water. I was like, if I'm new to this, I figured whatever. Yeah. Where was I going with this?
How you got into the films and not reading comics, and your friends dragging you along?
Oh, it was something that you said.
I've been reading comics since '89, and I only heard the name 4 times.
Yes. Okay. So when Shang-Chi came out, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go do my research thing. And so, hearing the rumors that the dad was supposed to be the Mandarin, or not hearing the rumors, the dad is supposed to be the Mandarin. Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. Let's go see what the real Mandarin's like. Do that. Yeah. Let's go see Shang-Chi's relationship with him. And so I read all of that. Nothing on the Dweller of the Darkness. Nothing on any of this stuff. So when all of a sudden this mythical monster was coming out, I was like, I don't know what we're in for. And honestly, with the Red Gate and then the way that they were describing the monster, I was like, after watching WandaVision, I was like, are we about to see Chthon? Is this what's happening? Is this where he's gonna show up?
The thing is, there's so many. Yeah, I mean, me obviously we brought up Fing Fang Foom. Me and Gabriel were expecting Fing Fang Foom. It's funny. Again, I'm playing the Guardians game. I'm maybe 3/4 of the way through this game now. But so the game starts off. The Guardians have no money. No one people know of them, but their reputation isn't what it is in the MCU. They're not saviors of the galaxy. They're people that. So other factions or other mercenary groups, when they mess up a contract, they say they Guardians of the Galaxy did it, because their reputation is so bad that they haven't finished the contract.
It's like you James Bond it, like
yeah. So their whole thing is like, we're gonna go get some. There's a character named Lady Hellbender that collects monsters, and they're gonna go capture a monster from the quarantine zone that she doesn't have and bring it to her and make some money. They get caught by the Nova Corps. They have to pay a fine, and so the way they figure out how they're going to pay this fine is they're going to sell a monster to Lady Hellbender. They end up deciding to sell Groot to her because he's a monster. It ends up going all bad. But the whole time, so Drax, the character, is like the whole time is like, we should have gone after Fing Fang Foom, and so every time like something goes wrong, he goes, I said we should have gone after Fing Fang. So they've said his name so many times in that game. It's just like, it just makes me like, every time I think of it now, I think of Shang-Chi and how we wanted Fing Fang Foom there so bad.
That's hilarious.
I hope they do end up bringing him in at some point, because he's just a great character.
Yeah,
like it's just a fun character, and he's a villain, but it's just like a weird, like he's a dragon, but he's also like a human. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Spider-Man No Way Home trailers?
I've seen all the trailers. I've seen the TV clips. Or the TV spots. Is what they're calling them.
Yeah, TV spots.
I've been watching everything. Yeah, and it's funny enough. So all the TV spots that I've watched and all the trailers I've watched, every now and then I'll be going through reels on Instagram, and they'll show me a clip that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are you guys finding this crap?
It's different markets. So like, there's a UK clip, and there's there's a Japanese clip. There's like different markets that are putting out.
That makes sense.
So the UK is getting more footage than we're getting.
Okay.
That's where a lot of the spoilers are coming from right now.
Yeah.
Like, so the extended clip that shows
the one in Brazil where Lizard gets kicked.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
So, I have a lot, and some of them are actually pretty cool. So there's the the favorite theory that it's Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
But Oren and I were talking about this, and he had pointed out that if you look closely at the theatrical trailer, when Electro says, I'm not going to let you take this from me, and he shoots the laser out of his chest.
Yeah.
The next clip that it goes to is the laser hitting a building, and if you look close enough, it's Otto Octavius dodging the beam and falling.
Okay.
And so we were thinking, okay, interesting. What if, because Octavius is the one that they find first, and they capture first, what if through, conversation or whatever, they get him to come to their side to help him, or to help,
give me one second.
Oh yeah, go for it.
What's going on, people? Pistol Pete Jr. here. Just to remind you one more time to check out Ray's Energy Drinks by Rep Sports. Ray's Energy Drinks. Amazing flavors. Zero sugar, zero dyes, zero crash. None of the junk, none of the bullshit that's in these other energy drinks. They're amazing. I guarantee you're going to love them. Use coupon code TRPS for checkout. Get 15% off your order. Check out repsports.com. REPPSPORTS.com. Again, use coupon code TRPS for 15% off your order, and to let them know that we sent you. And we're back one more again. So you were saying Octavius,
yeah. So theory is that they're gonna somehow convince him to work with them, or Tom Holland's gonna convince him to work with him to, gather all the other villains and send them back to their universes or whatever. Going off of that theory, so when Spider-Man jumps at Sandman, Electro, and the Lizard, it looks like Lizard gets hit by somebody, and then so it's Spider-Man jumping at Sandman, Lizard jumping at something and getting kicked, and then Electro flying at something above Tom Holland. So we're thinking, who's the only other villain that's not there in that trailer, or in that scene? Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah, Green Goblin, yeah.
So what if they also convince Green Goblin to join them, and it's the three of them versus Electro, Sandman, and Lizard? I was like, that's a really interesting thought.
That is, yeah.
But that means no Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
So it's like, which one do we really want?
Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Well, see, okay, I like that theory a lot. And see, and one of the things that kind of lends credence to that is the fact that there's a costume change for Green Goblin at some point.
Yes. And also the speech that he gives Peter isn't necessarily negative. It's vaguely positive.
Yeah.
So it could be him kind of coming around being like, hey, you know, this world's pushing you around, trying to take away all the things that you're trying to get.
Yeah.
I know that pain.
Yeah.
And just like the speech he gave to Tobey Maguire, it's like, we're not that different.
We're not that different, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe while Tobey Maguire didn't fall for it, maybe Tom Holland will, because he's kind of gullible.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, see, but the thing too, okay, so my question is this, though. So, like, the thing is it looks like, and this could be misdirection on Marvel, because they're getting really good at this misdirection.
They're really good at misdirection in trailers.
Because, so, what it seems like is they're leading up to the Sinister Six.
I think this is the Sinister Six.
This
is the closest that we're getting.
We're gonna get to. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, is if they do, because I mean, obviously they've shown the Vulture.
Right, and I thought for sure that if they were gonna do a Sinister Six, that he would come back, but it looks like he's staying in the Sonyverse because he's doing Morbius, Morbius, and then he might show up in Venom.
Yeah. But the thing is like, so we have Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Shocker. Or, I'm sorry, Electro.
Sandman.
Lizard.
And then we're still missing one.
Yeah.
So
the rumor, or the other theory is that it's going to be somebody else from the Sinister Six. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be the Sinister Six versus the three Spider-Men.
Right.
Which, I mean, is... I think what people want.
Mm-hmm. That's what everyone's expecting.
That's what everyone's
hoping for.
Yeah. And it feels like, again, Marvel has become the masters of misdirection. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, again, it's Tom Holland in the center, and I mean, Electro's clearly going after somebody else, and the Lizard's clearly going after somebody else. But I hadn't considered your theory. And that is a very, very good, like, it's a good point.
And they're really good at editing those trailers where they can crop people out.
Yeah.
Obviously, they made that one little mistake of Lizard getting kicked.
Yeah.
But
have you seen that? Okay, so now there's another, it's a piece, I think it's a poster, where one of the posters, like, there's some black and white cutoff. Like, it's like a mosaic of different posters, like, torn together from the different multiverses.
Okay.
And in one of them, there's Tom Holland Spider-Man, and then you see just like this part of another Spider-Man mask, and it's clearly the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But again, it could be more misdirection. Let me see. I have it. Let me see if I have it in my stories here. My stories.
While you're looking that up, on the subject of the Tobey Maguire suit, so Tom Holland's suit, the black webbing,
yes,
is like inlaid in the suit, like it's smooth surface.
Yes.
While Tobey Maguire's in the Sam Raimi trilogy, the gray webbing like popped out.
Yes.
In the trailer, when Spider-Man's wearing the black suit,
yes,
the gray webbing's popped out. And
yes.
so I was like, that's Tobey Maguire's Venom suit.
Yes. That's when I first saw the trailer, I thought it was the Venom suit.
It looks just like it.
It does. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find this article really quick. Shoot. Images, maybe. Here it is. Is it this? It's so something like, I'm trying to find the thing, but it's like, it's not this exact one. No, this is from the game. No, this is No Way Home. But it's like, it's another one like this where it's all split like this. Mm-hmm. And like in part of the black and white, it's like Spider-Man. And there's like another like in the bottom corner. So I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Okay.
And it's just like, yeah, it's just like it's just a corner of his head, but just enough to like, oh shit, that's another Spider-Man mask.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
And so I mean, I don't know if they're dropping these hints. Okay, so we were talking about this on the last step. Oh, here it is. So in the background right there.
Oh, yeah, no, that's 100% Toby.
Right?
That's 100% Toby.
So I mean, and that's off that fucking. Hold on, let me go back to the first one now. The first one they showed you. The full image. Wherever it went. There it is. So there he is right there.
Oh, so yeah. It's just a little bit more washed out.
Yeah. So I mean, they're dropping hints. Okay, so what's her name? The playing Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye.
Haley Steinfeld?
Yes. So she was doing a fan panel question Q&A, and someone asked her directly. So all the actors are in front, Kevin Feige's in the back. Oh no! And someone asks her,
God's watching.
Yeah, basically. Someone asks her, "Can you tell us anything about Young Avengers?" And her response was, she looked back at Kevin Feige. Like she looked.
What can I say?
She was like, yeah, exactly. She looked at him like, and like he kind of he did one of like these little like a subtle like he didn't say no, but he like there was a subtle shake to his head.
Yeah.
And then she just turned back and she's like, I don't know anything yet, kind of thing. So like, but again, I don't know if that's misdirection, if that's like them.
I mean, come on. They've already introduced so many of the Young Avengers. Like,
yes,
it has to be.
They have to, yeah.
Up.
And have you seen the video? Okay, so it's Tom Holland, Zendaya, and
the guy who plays Ned.
Ned.
I can never remember that.
I follow him on Instagram, and like
it's Jacob something, isn't it?
Yeah, his Instagram is like Life is Aloha.
Okay.
I just can't remember what his real name is.
Yeah, it's Jacob something.
But so they're all watching the trailer.
Yeah.
And he and Tom Holland's in the middle. We call him Tom Holland on the show. Tom Holland. And it's Tom Holland, Tomby Maguire, and Tomby and Andrew Garfunkel. That's
fantastic.
that was the running joke. So we were talking about because the reason we call him Tomby Maguire is for whatever reason, I think I might have been drinking that episode as well, but
probably
I mispronounced his name, and they were like, "That's why they're saying they're not in the movie because it's not Toby Maguire, it's Tomby. It's an Indian guy." That's why they're saying they're not in the movie because they're not. It's this guy. Anyway, so have you seen the footage? Tom Holland, and he's like, "Oh, where's the?" Mm-hmm. And he kind of. Then he like looks back and forth, and like he almost said something.
He does the whole like what's the? And then he makes like the face like the like.
Oh yeah. So I mean, there's more to it. It's just, but all this is just more hype. Like
absolutely.
Like this is the opposite of what I felt for the Eternals. Like I just like the more I see about it, it's just like fuck, I need to see this. Like to the point where it's like when I watch the trailers, I kind of
yeah. No, the feelings that I got for the No Way Home trailer are far beyond anything that I felt for the Eternals.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, also this is a cemented like.
Definitely, I mean the first two movies were amazing.
Exactly. So
like, as much as I love Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, mm-hmm. as much as I love the Sam Raimi, like I love Sam Raimi. Like I'm a huge again. Oh, so Hideo Kojima, George Romero, Sam Raimi,
the trifecta, the Holy Trinity.
Exactly. But I love those movies. But fucking like Tom Holland. Like, not only does he feel like the age range is just right. Mm-hmm. Like, he looks like a high schooler.
Yeah, absolutely.
He fits the like that's a Peter Parker I know and love. Is that awkward teenager that.
Absolutely.
He wants to do great things, but he wants to live a regular fucking life.
Well, because I saw somebody talk about that, Tobey Maguire hit the nerdy, awkward Peter Parker perfectly. And Andrew Garfield hit the wisecracking Spider-Man perfectly.
Yes.
Tom Holland hits both.
Exactly.
He's so good at blending both.
Yes.
And also his acting is just on a whole other freaking caliber.
A whole fucking other
Far From Home was insanely top tier. The scene where Mysterio just breaks him down with all the illusions, and he's just like in tears, and he like approaches like happy.
Yeah,
that all that acting, that's what freaking got me. I was like, I'm sold on this guy. Far From Home was
the one thing
incredible.
with Far From Home too that got me specifically. Also, Peter Parker in the comic series, Peter Parker doesn't win. Like he wins battles as Spider-Man. He beats a bad guy. But in the end, he's always like he wants his life with MJ. He just wants him he wants both sides.
Well, Spider-Man wins and Peter Parker loses.
Exactly. Whereas in the movies, up until Far From Home, it's kind of been both. Mm-hmm. Like in Civil War, like you don't get much as Peter Parker. You get Spider-Man. But in Homecoming, it's like he's kind of getting both sides. Like, he has that drama of like, oh shit, that's her dad. I gotta fight her dad. She leaves at the end, but he still ends up getting a girl at the end, kind of. It's still like it's not the bad and it's not the bad endings that Peter Parker normally gets in the comic series.
Homecoming was a lot more lighthearted than what Peter Parker usually faces.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Homecoming got really dark when it came to I wouldn't say really dark, but it got dark and it got more into like Peter Parker. Like, okay, well, yeah, you want this regular life, but guess what? If you want to be a hero, you're not getting this. Mm-hmm. And then especially with the end credits scene when they reveal who he is.
Yeah.
And with this one, it feels like they're just going deeper into that. They're just getting into who the character is, and so I like that gritty feeling of it. And then Tom Holland's portrayal of it is just, like you said, just his acting is a whole. Like Tobey Maguire is great. Like I love Tobey Maguire, but he's not. Like it's campy. Mm-hmm. It's a very campy movie. Yeah. All three of them are.
Yeah.
I mean, him dancing down the street.
As cringy as that was when I first saw that, it is iconic.
It is.
It is iconic.
On Reddit, they call him Bully Maguire.
Bully Maguire is one of my favorite trends that has ever existed. Yes. I love Bully Maguire.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean but those three movies, just all three of them, are iconic. But it's just. They're campy as hell.
Yeah.
Whereas the Andrew Garfield movies, like you said, the wisecracking, I think he got that. He nailed it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like everything else about those movies were.
I couldn't get invested with his relationship with Harry Osborn.
Yeah, exactly.
I could not get invested in that.
See, I feel like with that relationship, they flipped it too.
They did.
Whereas, like Harry Osborn's supposed to be the popular kid, everyone loves him, and like. In this one, he was a goblin before he became the Green Goblin.
He really was.
Just like,
he even looked it. Yeah. Like, he was like super pale and like a recluse. And,
I was like, what the hell? That was one of my biggest issues with it. And then I did like the whole Gwen Stacy thing. I like the fact that they brought Gwen Stacy in. They went.
On that note. So at the end of the theatrical trailer for No Way Home,
Zendaya falling,
and it shows Tom Holland's arm, going to grab for her.
Yes,
you know where I'm going with this, right?
I know exactly where you're going with this.
So the first thing that I heard was somebody dropping a theory of what if Andrew Garfield, what if they edited out Andrew Garfield's hand and they put in Tom Holland's hand. and because you can tell it's his suit.
Yeah.
What if they edited that out to make it look like it's Tom Holland, to keep Andrew Garfield under wraps? But what if it was Andrew Garfield jumping after Zendaya to redeem the loss of Gwen Stacy? And then, just like yesterday, I saw a reel where it was they took the footage of Zendaya falling, and they did a back and forth between Gwen Stacy and Zendaya, and I was like, what if the whole Andrew Garfield jumping after her to redeem the what he couldn't do for him, he can at least do for Tom Holland.
Yeah. Not
only that its own premise is amazing, but what if they did the cutaway where we saw through Andrew Garfield's eyes, he sees Gwen Stacy falling, and this is his moment. Holy crap!
That would be fucking amazing.
I got chills when Oren and I started talking about it. I was like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, that would be fucking epic.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that would that would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would be because it would be that redemption for that character. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's one of those things where do they give Peter Parker the win, or do they let him fail yet again on his personal life?
Well, so going back to how you were talking about how they went from Homecoming to Far From Home, and now what it looks like they're doing with No Way Home. The interesting thing that I thought of when you were talking about that is Homecoming was everything seemed really lighthearted, and it wasn't as dark as Spider-Man gets.
Yeah, yeah.
And he didn't really lose.
Yeah.
And then Far From Home was kind of a good balance.
Yeah.
Of traumatic experiences rather.
Yeah.
And the happy-go-lucky parts of his life where he's trying to live just a normal life. And then No Way Home, we seem to be getting into the dark and gritty. I like that Far From Home is the bridge between the two.
Yeah.
And Homecoming is oh yeah, we're starting out lighthearted, and No Way Home ends on the exact opposite note of Homecoming.
Yes.
It is kind of full circle, because we went from not a lot of dark, super light, and now we're going super dark and not a lot of light.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay, so one of the things that got me though, and so Zendaya was doing an interview, I think it was Vanity Fair. It was one of those fashion magazines. Mm-hmm. Zendaya's doing a thing, and because her and Tom Holland are dating.
Yeah.
And she said that
you gotta be living under a rock to not know that.
Yeah. This is, she said in the interview, this is more than likely the last time we'll end up working together.
That's kind of sad.
Yes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was at the same time, it's so is she saying that Mary Jane isn't going to be, or she's not Mary Jane, she's, what's her name?
Well, she's MJ. Mary Jane, but she goes by MJ.
She's MJ. She's not, her name is something else though.
I don't think they fully name dropped her. I think she's just MJ.
No, they were calling her something else. In Homecoming, they're calling her something, and then she goes, "Oh, well, I normally go by MJ," and that's when it's oh shit, she's MJ. She's not Mary Jane though.
You're right. They were calling her something else.
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is either.
But so it's is she gonna die off? Is she gonna go that Gwen Stacy route and die in that moment?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Because in the trailer, that part where they embrace in a kiss?
Yeah.
The background looks like the sun is rising.
I was thinking that same.
And
yes.
Usually movies end on that kind of a note.
Yes.
And since the fight at the Statue of Liberty takes place at night, I'm pretty sure that... Because also, when they embrace, he's all beat up.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that happens after the fight. I think she lives.
Yeah, I think so too. But at the same time, I'm not sure, it's weird. I don't know what direction. Hey, excuse me. They're gonna take it. It's just there's so how can I say? It's just there's so many options that they could take it, especially because of the Multiverse of Madness coming up, and then just so at one point I even heard rumors that Miles Morales is gonna make an appearance.
Yeah,
in this one.
Yeah, I heard rumors about that too.
And then I heard another rumor that. The kid that Tobey Maguire saves from the balloon in... Is it the second one? No, it's the first one. when the Green Goblin pops the balloons.
Oh yes, yes.
Supposedly, this is supposedly Kevin Feige's words that kid that he saved was Miles Morales.
Okay. I heard a rumor that people, well, again, purely a rumor, no basis of evidence, but they were like, we don't have a sixth. Who's going to be the sixth? Bring back Donald Glover, because he is the Prowler. He is Aaron Davis.
Yes, he is.
They even dropped, oh yeah, I got a nephew who lives here.
Yep.
So they're like, are we going to get the Prowler?
Oh, God.
But I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure that's not going
Yeah,
to happen.
no. I would love for them to bring him back as the Prowler
I would
at
love
some
that
point.
too. But also going off of, Zendaya saying this is probably going to be the last time we work together. This is going to be the end of the Marvel trilogy.
Yeah,
because we know that he's going to be in Venom 3.
Yes.
But that's going to be a Sony movie with Marvel, not Marvel Studios helping, but Marvel helping.
Yeah.
But I know, I'm like 99% sure that Tom Hardy's going to show up in this movie. Only because before Let There Be Carnage came out, looking up No Way Home on Google, he was credited in the cast.
Really?
They have since removed him. So they're trying to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that. But
so
yeah, it makes sense.
He's probably, I would bet money that he's going to be in credit scene.
Yeah. Have you seen Let There Be Carnage? Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
I despised it. I thought it was a terrible movie. The end credit scene, holy shit. But the movie itself was terrible.
Yeah.
I feel like what they did was, Oren and I joked about this. We said that they got Kevin Feige to help them out, and they got like 15 minutes with him. And so what he did was he gave them the building blocks to make a great movie, and they're like, okay, cool. So they took all that, and they used all those building blocks in the beginning of the movie. They were setting up plot devices, and then they just made the rest of the movie, forgot about all the building blocks that Kevin Feige gave them, and at the end of the movie, they're like, oh wait, we gotta connect everything. So they quickly tried to, couldn't, and the movie was a flop.
Yeah. Which is it's a shame, because the whole Venom Carnage thing is such a great, Carnage is a great fucking character. Mm-hmm. And you have fucking Woody Harrelson playing this character.
Missed opportunity.
And I mean, and he did a great fucking job.
I don't think I would say that he did the best with what he was given.
Yeah, for what he did.
Yeah.
For what he had.
He tried, but he can only do so much.
Exactly. I mean, Tom Hardy in the Venom movie, it was the same way. I feel like they're turning Eddie Brock into comedic relief for Venom, and then in this one they're doing the opposite, where Venom has become the comedic relief.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
And it's like, no, Venom isn't the comedic relief. Venom is the darkness. Venom is this destructive fucking character that just wants to destroy. Mm-hmm. And it's the character, it's the will and the character of the person he's of his host,
right,
that puts him on a path that he needs to be. Right. He's not comedic relief. He's not, why can't we just eat them? Like, he's not like.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where that's the difference between Sony and the MCU. Whereas the MCU and Kevin Feige, they understand these characters. Mm-hmm. They know what they're trying to like. They're changing up their stories. They're alternating them. They're not alternating. What's the word I'm looking for? They're changing them to fit the MCU. Mm-hmm. But they're not changing the character.
Right.
Whereas Sony's getting Venom, was like, okay, well, we can make him funny. Like, people want to laugh. Yeah. Let's make Venom funny. It's like, no.
Because the problem with one of the problems with Let There Be Carnage was every joke that happened was like a cheap joke.
Yes.
I never once got a good laugh. That's got like a scoff.
Yeah, exactly.
They were all cheap jokes.
They're and it's corny as hell. Mm-hmm. The whole and I feel like, okay, so the same issue with the DC movies, the same issues I have with the DC movies is the same issues I have with the Venom movies. It's like MCU is like, okay, this is a character we have. We can't bring the comic book version to life, but let's stay as close to the comic book version as we can. Whereas the DC was like, let's just like do what we need to do to make him a movie. It's a movie. And so
it's a broad way, but an accurate way of describing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just the fan Marvel Studios understands that comic book fans are coming to see these movies. Yes, they're getting non-comic book fans. They're getting the general public. They're getting people that don't know these characters. But they're also getting the core fans. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing their best to appease both. They're throwing in the... It's like...
And 9 times out of 10, they nail it.
Yes. Yeah, but they're also, at the same time, they're letting you know, hey, Loki did it the best. So, the Marvel, in the comics, it's Earth 626, I believe. That's the universe that the Marvel Comics is in. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is like 1331 or something like that. But the casual fan won't pick up on that. It's like the casual fan is like, this is a good movie, I'm enjoying it, I like these characters. Mm-hmm. The comic fan is, this is an alternate universe. It's the same character that I know and love, all slightly different origin, slightly different story. It's an alternate universe.
That's one of the biggest arguments that I make. If you're anyone that has like gripes, it's like, oh, this isn't true to like the comic. It's like, well, you got to think of it this way: how many different storylines have they had? So you take one character, how many variations of their storyline have you seen in comics?
Exactly.
And you accept all these, right? Think of it this way: this movie is just a cinematic comic.
Yes.
It's a new storyline in a new universe for this character. They're going to stay true to the ethics and what makes the character,
yes.
But they're going to tweak the story so we're not rehashing the same thing we've seen over and over again.
Yes.
Civil War, where was the other 100 comic book characters that are supposed to be there?
Yes.
It's a different story. Same concept. Yeah. Different take.
The whole launching point for Civil War was completely different in this one. In the comic books, it's the Youngbloods are going after a character. Oh fuck! What's the name of the character? Can't remember his name right now. But he explodes. That's his power. It reminds me of the old Daffy Duck cartoons. It's like this is my best trick ever, and he climbs up like this giant thing, and he drinks nitroglycerin before he jumps off this giant high dive, and he like dives, and like it's like this amazing trick, and at the end of it everything explodes, and like the person he's trying to impress is like, oh my god, that's amazing, that's the best trick ever, I'll book you right now. And then like his spirit floats up from the earth and is like, I thank you so much, but I can only do this trick once.
Yeah.
Like it reminds, I can't remember the character's name, but he explodes basically. He creates explosions, and they're chasing him down, and they're like next to a school, and he creates an explosion so big he eventually kills himself, but he also kills everyone in the elementary school. He kills like 10 block. It's like a 10 block radius that he kills people. Yeah. And so Tony Stark goes to the government's coming to Tony Stark for advice, and they're like, why are these kids? They're kids going after such a high level villain. And it's like, if these kids were registered, if these kids, we knew what their abilities were, we would have stopped them from going after someone above their skill level. Yeah. And so that's what leads to the Hero Registration Act. Right. And in Civil War, it's like in the movies, it's a whole different
catalyst. It was all the aftermath and the destructions they left behind. It's like, you guys need to be held accountable.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Then, the rift.
Same. It's the aftermath still, but it's a whole nother, like the catalyst.
They're focusing on a different catalyst.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then like Infinity War, like all that was different. Yeah. WandaVision was supposed to be the House of M, and they changed that completely.
It, yeah. Supposedly Secret War is supposed to be starting up right now, and I'm sure they're going to change that to fit the MCU needs.
Exactly.
And
They take the source material and it's based on.
Yes,
based
exactly.
on is the key word.
So Marvel Zombies in What If, the whole part with T'Challa and Black Panther being it is Ant-Man. It's Ant-Man. It's Hank Pym that captures T'Challa, keeps him alive because Hank Pym has been zombified. He captures T'Challa, and he's the one that figures out, well, I can't eat zombie flesh. So if I bite him and turn him into a zombie, I run out of food. So he cuts off his leg and eats his leg. And, like, that's how he figures out, like, and so, I'm trying to remember who saves him. I don't remember who saves him. But in the comics, T'Challa goes back to Wakanda, and him and Storm, because they're married. I mean, they might not be married at this point. But they eventually get married.
Yeah,
but
that's definitely a thing that happens in the comics. Yeah.
But they're definitely together at this point. But he goes back to Wakanda, and then like they build an army to fight the zombies. They don't win, but like it's one of those things. Like it's a big plot point in the Marvel Zombies where it's like T'Challa escapes Hank Pym, who figured out like the whole cutting his leg off just like they did in the cartoon.
Yeah,
like it's the same thing, but it wasn't Vision and Wanda. It's Hank Pym that does it.
Right.
So like they take these. Like, this is a major element from the story. Let's plug it in there. Yeah. And then we'll figure out how we're going to fit it in.
Also, I love the opposing themes between that Zombies episode and WandaVision.
Yes!
How Vision was her prisoner in WandaVision, but in Zombies, Wanda was his prisoner.
Yes,
Incredible.
Yes. Like, they hit those emotional beats and those like, so well.
Also, right before they introduce her, when you see the red hue, you already know.
Exactly.
My jaw hit the floor.
Yes.
I was like, "Oh fuck, zombie Wanda."
Yep.
Oh,
and then when they brought her back in the last
episode, I know.
Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Like, I. That's one of the things. So, like, me, my brother, Michael, he enjoys them. He enjoys the Marvel movies. He likes them a lot. He's very cynical, and he's very like, well, I mean, it was all right, it was good, but he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if he just doesn't dig into the backstory of him, or he doesn't like. And even my cousin, like Gabriel, he gets into him. He gets into him more than my brother does. But there's like the WandaVision thing. Like he got it, but he didn't react to it. He didn't have that same kind of like, holy shit moment. To him it was just like, oh yeah, it was Wanda, like okay, but like he didn't have the holy shit moment. I think it's just because I mean we're both more emotionally invested in these characters.
Definitely.
Like, well, I was watching Guardians 2 recently, and Yanu's funeral when Sean Gunn's character, what's his name, I can't remember. Kraglin. Yeah, when so Rocket says, "Oh, they came," and then Kraglin has that moment where he's just like, "Yeah!" Like that moment every time, like, it's that like, oh god, it gets me every fucking time. Yeah, it's just because, like, how can I say, like, the way the way he yells it out, it's just so like.
I totally know what you mean.
It's so perfect. The same thing with Avengers, with Infinity War and Endgame. Like Infinity War, like watching everyone dust out, and then they play that somber version of the Avengers theme, and it's just like, I know how it ends now, but it's still like, it still hurts, and it's still like those emotional beats play so well, and it's like I know how it ends, I know what happens, and it still gets me.
But that's just how good they developed that scene was. Even still, you know how it ends and you know how they carry on afterward, and it still hits you in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so well crafted.
But and that's the thing, going back to it, like being an alternate universe, an alternate story, an alternate character. It's the same character we know and love. It's just another version of its story. And
wouldn't you want something fresh instead of just rehashing the same thing over and over?
See, okay. So I use the analogy of Mario. So, people love Mario. Mario's a well-known video game character. He's been around since the early 80s. People know and love Mario Brothers games. Everyone has played the Super Mario Brothers game, the first game. And the games have evolved. Mm-hmm. Like right now, Mario Odyssey, I think was the latest one, where it's a 3D environment. It's just Mario. You're throwing a hat at things. Mm-hmm. It's like a completely different game. Some people loved it. Some people hated it.
Yeah.
And so, like the thing is like, why can't you guys just do the same thing that you guys did back then?
And they're just playing the same game over and over
exactly.
again. It's boring.
And then there's the other half of the people like, why can't you guys do something new with these characters? And it's like, so it's like you can't please all of the people all the time.
That's why you got to do like subtle changes. Like Mario Galaxy pushed the envelope.
Yes.
But it was so well received. And
yes.
then Mario Galaxy 2, and it's like, hey guys, guess what? New shit, but also basically the same game.
Yeah.
Everyone was happy with Galaxy 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, the Mario Party games, they're the same.
It's the same freaking thing.
Yeah.
But you get new stuff.
Exactly.
So it's a perfect balance.
Yeah.
Mario Kart's the same way. It's
yeah.
the same freaking game. New stuff.
New stuff. Exactly. And that's what the MCU is doing perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're giving you what you want, tweaking it just enough so it's new. So it's like, so the casual fan or someone that knows nothing about these characters can go in and watch these movies and like these movies and enjoy what they're seeing.
Absolutely.
And the die-hard comic book fan can go in there and like, okay, I like this. This is good.
Yeah.
And then fall in love with a beloved character all over again.
Right. So like when nope. I was about to do an Eternal spoiler. Oh, you haven't seen it.
I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I need to go see it. I'm gonna go see it. Right now my priority is Ghostbusters.
The 2 end credit scenes?
Really? Okay.
Holy shit.
Nice. Okay. I'm with you. Speaking of end credit scenes, the Shang-Chi, I think it's the second end credit scene, where they're talking to Wong. And
yes.
they're like, your lives are about to change, and they're like, we should go home and get some rest. Oh. And it just cuts to them singing Hotel California. And it's just all three. I was like, I was dying. Like, I love that scene. I mean, you know, that song has a yeah,
absolutely.
So, I was just dying. Speaking of, I need to let you read some what I've.
Ooh,
yeah, I've gotten kind of deep. I think I've got a good 10 chapters written.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. So it's like maybe the first 3 chapters, and then like later on. So there's a gap. There's like a jump. Like the story jumps.
Oh, okay.
So I'm missing. I just got to figure out how to get from.
I was gonna say I'm not one to say anything. That's basically how I write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, when I wrote the outline for this, I knew it's based on the song.
Yeah.
So it's like I know where the beats are, and it's like, okay, so there's this moment. This is where he finds the hotel. This is where, like, I have it as a party where it's like where the mirrors on the ceiling and all that, and then it's like, this is where he figured out shit's. This isn't what he thought it was, kind of thing. So I have that, like the opening where he gets to the hotel, where he meets everybody. I have like the first big party where he meets his love interest and kind of stuff like that. And then I have a bit written about like, oh shit, this isn't what I thought it was, kind of thing. And so it's a big, like, I've been doing some research on it. I've been doing kind of like some like the Den of the Lotus Eaters, and so I it's kind of like that as well, where it's like the whole thing is I couldn't go into it. I shouldn't go into it, but yeah, it's a lot. But I'll see if I can put together a legible version of it.
Quick question.
Yes.
So I know most of it is based off of the lyrics.
Yes.
Do you have a part written for the guitar solo?
I do.
That's amazing.
I do.
I'm so glad you do. That's amazing. Oh, I can't wait to see what you came up with that.
Because the guitar solo is the end of the song. That's where everything kind of just fades out.
Is there nothing that comes after the?
There's nothing that comes after the guitar solo.
Oh
no.
Shit! I thought for sure there was. Okay,
no,
so that's how it fades out.
Yeah,
so that's the ending.
That's the end of the song.
Gotcha.
But that's like, yeah, that's where it kind of. I don't know if I.
It's like the climax leading into the epilogue, right?
Yes.
I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. But at the same time, it's also like, Have you seen Dusk Till Dawn?
Believe it or not, no.
Okay.
But it's on my Netflix list.
Okay, you need to watch Dusk Till Dawn.
Because it's one of those cult classics. I was like, once I saw it on Netflix, I was like, I need to watch this at some point.
You need to watch it. So that movie is also so the song itself, Den of the Lotus Eaters, and Dusk Till Dawn are heavy influences on what I'm writing right now. And the ending of Dusk Till Dawn, like just before it goes into the credits, that like it's that happy ending, pan out kind of thing.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
So pay attention to that, and then that's kind of where my story's going.
Okay.
And so you'll see. It's there's no words to it. There's no it's one of those kind of like, if you don't notice it, you don't notice it kind of things.
Okay.
Obviously, in a book, it's a little different because like I'm literally spelling it out for you.
Right.
But let's go ahead and wrap this up. We're a little over time. I guess don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/TheRealPressStart, on Twitters at RealPressStart, on Instagram at TheRealPressStart. Like us, rate us, review us anywhere you get your podcasts. Share us with your friends. Don't keep us your dirty little secrets. On that note, game over. No more questions.